pretty much, I think for the most part, we agree on most of the topics. I think there's just one thing we didn't agree on, not a big disagreement, but overall, I think everything that not even Emily said is correct. Like I mentioned, the college system nowadays is not what it used to be. I think a lot of people are starting to come around and realize that colleges really just aren't worth it. My personal belief, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video or not, but my personal belief is, one, if you want to go to college nowadays, go in with a legitimate strategy. Don't go because society tells you to go. Don't go because your parents say to go. Don't go because you see your friends go or older family members told you that they went. Don't go for those reasons. Those are terrible reasons. That is society trying to sell you on an outcome that they aren't even sure is possible for you. That's a mistake. What I recommend you do, and I'm just some dude on the internet, so of course take my advice with a grain of salt. But if you're going to go to college, have a very long-term plan. Go in having an idea of what career you want from going to college. Have an idea of what major you want to pick. When it comes down to knowing what major you want to pick, be sure to shadow people or interview people who are in that specific field that you want to be in. Understand the salary for that position or for that career. Understand how long it takes to excel in that career. Understand like what the work-life balance is. Some people have careers and the income is great, and maybe in general, the tasks of the job aren't bad, but the hours suck. Or most companies that hire these specific types of people in these industries might just be terrible employers. That can be something that you don't want to be bothered with. So keep that in mind when you're trying to come up with a strategy if you go to college. Second thing, think about student loan debt. If you're going to get debt, make sure the debt makes sense. We allow people who are way too young to take out student loans. And I think it's a massive, I've said this before in different videos, it's a huge downside to everybody. It's a downside to the individual, of course, but it's a downside to society as well. Because when you saddle young people with too much debt, they're far less likely and far less able to take on additional risks. And if they're not willing to take on additional risks, they're not going to innovate. If they're not willing to innovate, they're not going to contribute to society in any meaningful way. So it's just a bad outcome for everybody. Understand how much you're going to be paying for your student loans. Think about an idea of how long it'll take you to pay off your student loans based on the career that you're choosing. Make sure those numbers make sense. And I would say last thing, this is just my overall view of college. If you do go to college, even if you take into consideration all the things I just mentioned, personally, I think the best thing you can get out of college is the networking. I think a lot of people don't really consider the networking aspect of college to be a factor at all. To me, it's like number one factor, like the top tier factor. I think even if you went to college, even if you got a degree and got the worst possible grades and barely scraped by to get that degree, I think it all doesn't matter if you've met a lot of people and if you formed long-term relationships. And I'm not saying that everyone in college needs to be your best friend. What I am saying is that if you do meet people, put in a genuine effort to keep in touch with people, be likable to those people, be known to those people. There's an expression I heard, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And I think that's extremely valid. In different studies I've read, I think about 70 to 80% of most people in long-term careers, they get the career not because of their resume or because of their credentials. They get the career because they know someone who is in that career. They know someone who knows a manager, or they know someone who knows a supervisor, or they know someone who might be the owner of that company. Does that make sense? So basically, you get a job, not so much by the resume or by who you are, but because of just who knows you or who's willing to take you in, simply because you guys are cool or because you guys are friends. I think that's how life works in general. I think a lot of opportunities come not so much from how smart you are, not so much from what degrees you have, but they come from who you know, right? Like if you're someone who knew Donald Trump, for example, but you had no career, but Donald Trump loved you, do you think he wouldn't give you an opportunity? And he's the first name that popped into my head because he's rich and he's president. Don't think too deeply about like political affiliation. It's just a hypothetical. But hopefully you get the point that I'm making. If you know someone who's in a position of power or in a position to make valuable decisions or someone who's in a position to give you an opportunity, that's more valuable than the things you know. Because a lot of times in real life, we overlook competence in favor of simply being cool with people. And I think that's perfectly fine. Not in every position, but in the general sense, that's not the worst thing in the world. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna go to college, network, meet a lot of people. I think it's good to have fun in college. I think it's super valuable. Make sure to keep in touch with the people you meet. And I think that's your best bet for college. And I think that's where the highest ROI comes from. But let me know what you think about this video. Show some love to Not Even Emily. She's got way more subscribers than me, so I'm sure she's getting plenty of love, but I do want to give her credit for me reviewing her video. So check out her channel as well. I've seen, I think I like 1 or 2 videos of hers before and I liked them. So she has a pretty cool channel, it seems. Leave a comment below if you agree or disagree. I'm always curious to hear you guys' opinions. And then final thing, if you like the video, share it with other people who might enjoy it as well. But until next time, hope to see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.